Hi guys, welcome back to Ryrick TV and welcome to a slightly different video because today we've got two cars that do very, very similar jobs, but do it in slightly different ways. So we have the BMW iX and we have the BMW X5. Both large SUVs sitting right at the top of the BMW range, but one's electric and one's internal combustion. And I think these two cars are a little bit too complicated for me to review on my own. So I need an expert. No, I need a genius, which is why today I have Sean joining me. He's a product genius from our Warwick BMW site. So, should we start by looking at the powertrains available?
Yeah, no problem at all.
So we start with the iX. What can you get with this? Obviously we know it's electric, but are there different specs?
Yeah, so this is the 40 model. You can get it in Sport and M Sport.
Yeah.
But 40 is the lower powered one. Range, you're looking about 250 miles, power over 300. You can step up to the 50. This is where you get things like air suspension, rear wheel steering, and you're looking about 350 miles, so quite a good range, and also over 500 horsepower. So it really does shift.
You'd think that's enough, wouldn't you? But isn't the one above that as well?
We can go one better.
That's amazing.
We've got the M60, a very new model, the newest of the iX. Over 600 horsepower, about 620-ish horsepower. It's extremely quick, 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, 3.8 BMW say. And you get about 350 miles on that as well.
That's pretty impressive, especially for a car of this size. That sort of acceleration figures are pretty good. So before we have a look at design, should we just talk about the X5? Yeah. So what's available on this then? Obviously electric, petrol power, diesel power?
Petrol and diesel and hybrid. So we've got a few options on this. 30D,
yep.
3 litre diesel engine, pushing 286 horsepower.
Yeah.
We won't talk about the range.
No, because it's, yeah.
Maybe even more miles.
It's conventional.
Yeah. Then we've got 40D, still a 3 litre, but pushing out more power, around 330 horsepower. So it's just
nice.
More power yet for people that need it. Then we move to the petrols.
Yeah.
So we've got a 40i engine, which is again a 3 litre. They're all 3 litres.
See, people get that wrong though, don't they? They think a 40i or a 40D is a 4 litre. It's not anymore, is it?
No, no, no. Yeah, just to confuse you all, it is a 3 litre. So the 40i pushes, again, it's around 330 horsepower. Petrol is probably not as efficient as the diesel, but it works for some people. Then we have a 45e.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can talk about range on that one, yes, because it has got a range. What's the range on the 45e?
So you're looking at 50 to 55 miles, which
that's impressive. That, yeah, that's good. That is.
For a big car, you can get a lot of journeys done just on that electric range. Of course, it's got a 3 litre petrol. Power-wise, it's just under 400, so it does go as well.
Yeah, shifts.
Quick, yeah. And then we've got one more for you, the M50i. So
nice.
This has the V8.
Is that a 5 litre? No, it's not a 5 litre. Wait, there we go, there we go, there we go.
No, not quite with BMW. But we do have 525, just under 525 horsepower.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
It really does the job well.
Isn't there a full-blown M version as well? Yeah, it's a bit much, yeah.
X5M, yeah. So we won't get into that one.
It's slightly different. You can't really compare with these, but no. So what about the design? So that's powertrains. So Sean, take me through some of the design cues, especially with the iX, that make it a BMW still.
Yeah, so it's very different, but it's still BMW. And what are we going to start with? What do you think we'll start with? Maybe these big kidney grills, but not grills.
Yeah, grills, but not grills, because there's nothing goes in there.
They're very, very clever. So BMW have kept the design, just heritage. You've got it. Yeah. It's obvious BMW now. But under the grille are all the radars, so you don't have a big block like you.
Yeah, you can see it on the X5. Yeah, nice. So it's all hidden sort of in here, is it?
Yes, yeah, so it's
nice.
All hidden underneath.
Nice.
Great. But also can we see any stone chips? Any scratches? So this material, as soon as it gets a little scratchy chip on it, anything like that, it self-heals, it heats up, it's a self-healing plastic.
That's clever. That's really clever.
Yeah. Moving above that, typical BMW roundel, of course with the blue outline to signify electric.
Yeah.
It's not just any old roundel.
Oh, look at that. What goes in there?
It's the screen wash.
Oh, that's clever. Amazing.
And this, so that's where you put your screen wash. The first time we all found that out, it was quite crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. That's amazing.
It's quite a cool feature, isn't it? But yeah, moving around, obviously the new design with the lights. Still with the blue accents in it, signifying BMW laser lights. So they are different to the kind of, I wouldn't say standard, but they're typical.
Yeah,
like,
because they're Corona sort of rings on that, whereas this, they're not, are they?
Yeah, so they have changed it up slightly, but they still look sleek,
yeah,
and quite aggressive,
yeah,
in a way. But yeah, leading on with the lights, the rear lights, I'll show you those. So it has BMW's new iconic glow.
Nice.
So it's a real soft LED light.
They do a little sort of little dance when you open and lock it. Yeah, it's really cool. So we'll show you that. But it still has Hofmeister kink, swage line, that sort of stuff.
All that.
Yeah. So it's still a BMW, just a more futuristic. Well, I say futuristic. We still say these cars are futuristic, but why? They're here now. This is the present. This is now. This car is here. It's not just a sketch or anything like that. It's real. But let's quickly touch on X5. I don't think we really need to go into too much detail on that because it's just typical design language. We see these everywhere. This model of X5, G05, it's been around for quite a while now, to be honest. And I still think it's aged really, really well, especially this one. Is that Dravic Grey? Yeah. What we're going to do now then is we're going to jump into either of these cars together. We're going to have a look at the interiors while we're driving and just see how they drive and how they compare with their drive. I mean, does this still feel like a BMW? We know that one will, but we still want to drive that. So here we are then, in the iX.
Yeah.
First thing I notice, it's so quiet.
Extremely.
I know that's a cliche, oh it's electric, it's going to be really quiet, but even compared to most electric cars, it feels really quiet. I think the road noise is the big thing with electric cars because there's no sort of drivetrain noise. You hear the road more with the tyre noise and wind noise around the door mirrors, but
exactly, yeah.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. It's like, amazing.
Yeah, it is really, really quiet. I do also love about electric cars, especially this, the lack of anything down here.
Space.
Like there's space everywhere. The interior is great, isn't it? It's so futuristic and different. Like this was the first, is it, with the new displays and stuff?
Yeah.
So this is sort of a trailblazer for the new generation of BMWs.
Exactly. They're all starting. It's all starting to come on more models now, and it does look fantastic.
Really high quality as well, isn't it? Like the fit and finish of everything here. It's really stylish. It's different. Like it's not. This is one of those electric cars that BMW do both, really. They do electric cars that look like normal cars, and then they do electric cars that look like electric cars, this being one of those ones.
Yeah.
I think it's such a cool place to sit. There's loads of space, you've got plenty of space.
Oh, I've got
loads of headroom,
space.
You are taller than me as well.
The back seats as well.
Yeah. I've never been in the back, is there plenty of space?
Oh, honestly, even if you're tall over 6 foot in the front, you've got no problem at jumping behind yourself. There's loads of space.
That's really impressive. That's really what this car's about, isn't it? It's about being practical for families and business owners and businessmen, people that are going to use these cars quite a lot. It needs to be have plenty of space. Boot space is really impressive as well.
Yeah, for an electric car.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of electric cars lose so much boot space, and this does slightly compared to X5, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's still loads and loads of space.
It does lose some boot space, but I would rather be in the back of this than the back of an X5.
Really?
100%.
That's interesting.
100%, yeah.
That's really interesting. To drive, it feels like a BMW.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it'd be so different, it looks like it'd be really different to drive. but it's not. It feels like any BMW I've driven, just without any noise and regen brakes. Now you can change those, can't you? You can have it more aggressive regen and less regen and different settings.
High, low, adaptive. Adaptive works out, it uses radars. If there's a junction coming up or cars in front, it will actually start slowing down before you've even braked.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Just in any driving mode.
Yeah.
It's amazing, to be fair. It makes it so easy to drive.
So impressive. I think the impressive thing about this, I think, to sum it up, is that yes, it's electric, yes, it looks very different, yes, it feels very different in here, it feels modern and futuristic, but it still feels like a BMW to drive. You know you're in a BMW because it feels like one.
I'll tell you what though, question for you.
Yeah.
This is the 40.
Yes.
What do you think of the ride? Because this doesn't have the air suspension.
It doesn't? Oh wow, okay.
Obviously X5s do.
Yeah, which we'll find out in a minute.
Yeah, the iX50 does.
Okay.
But this doesn't, and I'm actually very impressed.
Yeah, really impressed by it.
You wouldn't think
you
you were
wouldn't know, would you?
surprised.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's why I brought the Genius along. No, I think it rides beautifully well on the road. There's nice feeling through this very weird shaped steering wheel. It's very bizarre when you first jump in, but you get used to it really quickly.
You do, yeah.
But no, I'm mighty impressed by this. So I think we should go and see what the X5's like.
Definitely.
So X5. It's been a while since I've driven one of these, and you know what? I forgot how good they were.
Yeah,
It's like a handshake with an old mate. Like, it's just so familiar in here. It's such a good car to drive. This particular car is spec'd beautifully. Not just the outside, but the inside is just spot on. It's got a nice few bits of kit on it. So what has this got exactly?
Well, where do I begin? So we've got comfort seats.
Yeah, which are wonderful.
Sorry, they're the best seats.
Yeah,
they are amazing. We've also got Bowes & Wilkins sound system.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's I don't see that very often.
Speakers. So very, very impressive.
Yeah.
And it looks good as well.
It does.
Silver kind of. They call it the Bowes & Wilkins Diamond sound system. So fancy name.
Yeah.
But yeah, 360 cameras. It's loaded. It's fully loaded. This car. I mean, X5s come
really well spec'd
anyway. But this has got everything you could ask for.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Now I will say, to drive, it does feel relatively similar to the iX.
Yeah.
Like, you can still tell that they've got very similar driving characteristics. If you've never driven a BMW, you'll agree with this. There is something about BMW, isn't there? There's a way that they drive which is inherently BMW. It's really hard to put your finger on and explain until you've driven them.
100%.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about the way a BMW drives that's different to any other car.
Yes.
And both the X5 and the iX have that thing, which I think is a very impressive thing, because as we mentioned right at the very start of this video, these two cars are very similar in what they're built to do.
Yeah.
But they also go about it in two different ways. And the fact that they go about it in two different ways but still feel very similar, I think is really impressive. I don't think you'd be shortchanged if you jumped out of an X5 and into an iX dynamically. They feel
definitely.
very, very similar. The iX is very, very impressive, and the X5 obviously it's the daddy. It's fantastic to drive. I think it's just as, both cars are just as comfortable. I think more so the iX is slightly more impressive, I think, because it hasn't got air suspension.
Yes.
Whereas this has, hasn't it?
Yes, 100%.
So I think the iX is very, very impressive without the air suspension.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like with it.
the air
It'd be
suspension.
fabulous.
Yeah. The ride is very close.
Yeah, it's very, very close between this and the iX. Space-wise, I think there probably is slightly more space in the iX.
You get obviously more space in the boot.
Yeah.
In this X5.
In this car, yeah. So as a trade-off, yeah, more space in the back of this.
100%.
Slightly less inside.
Yes, you've got loads more space in the iX. And I talked about I'd rather be in the back seats of the iX.
Yes, it's true.
It's true. There's more space in the back, and it's
but that's not saying that there's none in this.
Yeah, exactly.
There's absolutely loads.
And I'm not saying this is cramped. It's not at all cramped.
You feel more cocooned in this, don't you?
But think about all the space we had, all the airy, the long windscreen.
Yeah.
You You don't get any of that.
100%. The windscreen feels much closer to you.
100%. Yeah.
And the transmission tunnel, that's the big difference, I think. You don't have all this space.
No. It's when you jump in the iX.
Yeah, you realise.
And you see it, and you're like,
look at all this space.
That's pretty impressive. That is. Yeah.
Saying this isn't a tiny little. This isn't like an original Mini. But, it's still really spacious in here. The interior, we'll touch on the interior. The interior is fabulous.
It is. You can't go wrong with it.
It's BMW design language. If you're familiar with BMW, you'll jump into this and be completely at home immediately. And something that's disappearing quite quickly from not just BMW, most cars, physical buttons for the air conditioning. We've still got them in here. Such a great thing.
It's a good balance between style, looks and usability.
Yeah, technology's in there as well. You've got the really great OS 7. The digital display directly in front of me as well was really good. It's actually first seen on X5, wasn't it? X5 8 Series in 2018. Yeah, first seen on these cars. But no, all in all, interior's great. It drives fantastically. Both cars, they're both great cars, aren't they?
The only thing is, what can you hear?
Oh yes.
But it's the road noise as well.
Yeah. Internal combustion.
This is not a loud car. This is not the diesel. I think this actually comes with some M Sport exhaust, which you don't need in the
especially when you go into sport.
But a lot of it, where's it coming from? That's the question. But it's not a loud car. No, it's a relaxing, really quiet car. But it can't be the iX.
No, iX is all electric. It was always iX is definitely quieter, but I think both cars are fabulous, and in both cars do the same job very well. Both cars do the same job very well, and if you're a family, they are fabulous.
Both of them, you can't go wrong.
Absolutely wonderful. So let's cut back to us next to the cars to wrap this one up. So there we go. Two cars that are very similar in what they do, in their sort of ethos and what they are intended for. Big, comfortable SUVs. You've got the now almost classic X5. It's been around for a long time now, the X5. Almost started the sports SUV revolution. And then you've got, well, we say the future, but the bang up-to-date iX. So if you want any more details on the iX or the X5, please use the links in the description of this video to contact any of our Rybrook BMW retailers. A big thank you to Sean for helping me out with this video. It's been really useful having you along, and hopefully we'll see you a little bit more in the future. And well, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come, and we'll see you guys again really soon.